Well, as you can see here, I've got some orange peel. The paint job didn't go as planned. Ended up sanding the whole thing off again and redoing it. It's the last 30 days to launch in this video. Hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody. So overall, this new top lac paint from Interlux, it's not bad. I like it where it worked. So this is like the first finish here, but you can see I've got some orange peeling going on. Orange peeling is this little area here. You can see my hands making it dirty so it stands out more, but you can see I got like little spots. This is the paint here. Top lac plus. So this paint here is what I ended up using, and I used about a third of it to do one coat. So unfortunately it's a waste of paint, and hopefully I don't have to go into too much more extra, but I wanted to get at least 2 to 3 coats down with that paint. So what was I saying? This is different than the bright side. So I never had this problem with bright side. I don't really remember having this, but the issue is largely contamination under the paint. So you lay down the fresh paint, and there's some contaminant underneath that reacts with the paint, and it wants to come out. And so it could have been just like we wiped it with acetone. We even waited about an hour in between wipes. Like by the time you start at one part of the boat, it took us almost 2 hours and a half, 3 hours to put one coat down. So, you know, it was less of a problem on the other side, but still a problem. So it tells me that, you know, either it wasn't wiped well enough, or the acetone was still there. There was some residual chemical. I don't know. And then I think I'll go down there just for a second and take a look at the other part of this. I'm going to say this is the beginning, the first part I did. And this is the end here. So you can see I was on very thin here. And you can see I've got a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's not much, but I put it on pretty thin. This is like a severe whiteout. I can't see anything, so I want to paint tomorrow at noon and get it done. So yeah, so I don't even know if you can see that, but there's a little bit there, a little bit here. So it's definitely not very often. And we used acetone for the whole boat. So tomorrow I'm going to try the 216 and see if that helps make any difference. Bought this boat with very little. Had no working engine, no instruments, and you know, I gutted it. I pulled the engine out, and then I decided to go electric. So I put an electric motor in, and had a whole learning curve about that. So I learned about batteries and charging systems and wiring and, you know, house banks, all the different solar panel and monitoring systems. And that's what this channel is about. It's about sharing the knowledge that I learned, documenting my journey as I retrofitted this boat. I'm looking forward to next year. Next year I'm going to be taking the boat out to the coast and to the ocean, and I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you can follow along and join me. Hey everybody, I'm just gonna wipe this down here briefly. I was talking with a gentleman that's knowledgeable about the paints, and it's actually not the top coat that did that orange peel effect. It was actually the primer that didn't set. So when I put the primer on, it was 10 degrees. And he says, I probably needed to wait an extra day to do the top coat because it was just not quite warm enough, especially at night. It went down to like 4 or 3 or something. So it didn't have enough time to cure. So we sanded off all of the orange orange peel wherever the sections were that had that. I'm going to re-prime it because some of the sections we actually got right down to, you can see the dark spot there, dark spot, and then this was the area that was the worst. So this just didn't cure here. This is kind of like where the bulk of the bad, but we took down the paint even. So I just want to put some primer down to make sure that there's no spots that have anything exposed. So like the gray here is actually Interlux barrier coat. So, and then the brown on top was the old paint. So we're just going to wipe it down, finish sanding. We're just giving it a light scuff with 220 overall, and all the orange peel's gone. This is an area that had orange peel, so it's now solid. And so we're going to do a tack cloth wipe, then we're going to wipe it with acetone, then we're going to paint it with primer. And I'm going to not wait, I'm not going to paint tomorrow. I'm going to let it cure tomorrow, all day today, all day tomorrow. And at the end of the day tomorrow, I'm going to give it a light scuff, sand, and wipe. And then the first thing I'm going to do on Monday is paint. So I'm going to try to get a coat down Monday of top coat. And then it's supposed to rain Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. So somewhere in there, I'll try to find a day where it's 20 and I've got at least 4 or 5 hours of no rain, and I'll try to get a second coat on then. So, and then hopefully that's long enough. Once you get the first coat down, in between coats, it should be, it's easy to sand and put another coat on. It's just this first one, it picked up the primer underneath and in places where it might have been a little thicker, and it didn't quite fully cure. That's actually what caused the orange peel. So I'm going to go with that anyways. He certainly knows more about paint than I do. Live and learn. Right on. Thanks, Charles, for your hand. Super help. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Sanding, priming. Sanding, wiping.
Sanding and wiping, yeah. We got, here she is. She's looking great. All of the orange peel is gone. Fresh coat of primer. And now we're going to have to wait until, I'm going to wait till Monday, give it 2 days to dry, because the primer was the problem the last time. Just not quite warm enough, but it's warm today, 20. I probably could paint tomorrow, but I'm just not going to chance it. Well, fast forwarding ahead here, we, Charles and I, finished off the primer, stripped down the tape, took all the tape lines off, let it sit. Then we put 1-2 more top coats, so kind of like where I had the paint, where I didn't sand it off, I actually have primer, top coat, primer, top coat, top coat. So there's quite a few layers of paint on there now. So I just went with 2 layers. It seemed like it was thick enough, I couldn't see any of the lines. And then the other thing, I didn't actually repaint in the boot stripe, the racing lines. I was just looking at it, and I liked it clean. And I was a little bit tossing it over in my head. Do I put the original brown back on? But I kind of like it white, so I'm just going to let this sit with that for now. And hopefully it grows on me more than it did in the beginning. I got my decals at Speed Pro Imaging near Bronte. They're pretty good. You basically put a line of tape on the top. You flip the thing over and you take the back off, and then you lay it down top to bottom. And then you take the tape off, you press it down with the little applicator, and then you peel the top layer off. It's kind of like a big masking tape. So, what's left is the vinyl. Looks good. Nice. Well, there was a myriad of things that I got done kind of in between coats here. I was really glad that the repair on the hull went, in the end as well as it did. But yeah, some of the other projects were we had to mark the anchor chain and get it fed into the windlass into the anchor locker, and I had to work the anchor locker a little bit. We got power run for the Starlink and the MikroTik router. I replaced the windows. This one I want to talk about a little bit in the video because I learned something afterwards about these windows and Sikaflex. Ran liquid cooling, installed the grab bars back in the cabin, and finished fiberglassing in the bulkheads and everything for the head. So that was a huge job. Hey everybody, Saturday we're working on a few things. I'm getting the composting head in, and I finished up plugging up that wall. I've got to insert, David's here helping me. He's going to be wiring up the MikroTik router for the Starlink. So that's basically it here. And then we're going to connect it into the PoE, which is under there, which drives the Starlink dish, which is over here. And then Julisa's here helping too. Oh, it just started to sprinkle again. Julisa's taking the tape off today.
You want the yellow one too, right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, thank you, honey. It was a real pain. The tape was a very bad quality tape, and I used it for both sides on the top railing, and when I pulled it, it lifted all the glue behind. Is it coming any easier now that it's not so hot, or
is it just off in little strips? It doesn't come
in one big piece?
Yeah.
That's the worst thing. I don't know why I chose to use that tape. I had it, but I should have used the frog tape or the special tape that doesn't leave any glue. Anyways, live and learn. So for the chain markings, we're taping them up and doing stripes. I only have red and blue paint, so just out of necessity, we're going to do red and blue. So we've got red here. This is at 20 feet. And then the next 20 feet is blue. And then 30 feet. Every 30 feet after that will be numerical stripes. So the first blue and red is the first stripe. So this is a blue and red. So that's 70 feet. And then this is 100 feet. So every 30 feet after that. That's just the way I decided to do it because of the original markings on the rope road. So we just repainted them to match with the extended lengths. And basically we got like red, blue, red, red, blue, red, blue. And just keep growing. So I just have to count it, and then I'll know how far down the chain I am. So that's 275 feet of anchor chain. And it looks like about half of that. So I've got about 150 feet of road. So I'm going to put the rope road in this anchor. In the stern for the stern anchor. And the chain is going to go up into the bow as soon as she dries. This is where it gets stuck. I need my bow roller doesn't have a dip, so I need a bow roller that has a slight dip to let it to come over. So they have like a hinged type. So that's actually what I need to do. So that way it stays in. So I got to do that every time. Hull it by hand for that last little bit. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about using the right sealant here for installing your windows. Sikaflex makes 291 and 295 UV. And basically, if you use the wrong solvent on plexiglass or acrylic, it can actually create something called stress corrosion cracking, which is like crazing and cracks in your windows. It doesn't happen right away, but it just slowly starts to eat at it. There's like this chemical reaction that takes place. So Sikaflex made a product called 295 UV, and it's specifically formulated for acrylic and polycarbonate. It minimizes the harmful solvent release, and it prevents chemical damage. It's got good UV properties. It's better for outdoor use, specifically for boat windows. So use the right sealant for whenever you're mounting these windows. I didn't, and I had to pull it all off just out of habit. I have 291 on everything on the boat except for the windows. The windows have to be with 295 UV. So that was a big job. I had to retape, repeel, clean the windows, do all of that, put it back on. So it was a pain in the butt. Yes, but I thought I'd have a little fun with the underpaint job. This will only be seen by me, but I'm going to put my feet from my logo in a different color antifoul just for fun. And we'll see how it turns out. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but